Hello folks, I'm Alan Cragness with the Magic Wall. Today I'd like to show you just exactly how easily the Magic Wall installs. Before I do that, I'll run you down the components of the Magic Wall. There are basically four parts to it. The first being the insulated wall panel, expanded polystyrene with the engineered wood nailing flange. Second is the mold, mildew, and water resistant gypsum board, which is attached on top of this. Third, you have your upper track, which is attached to your floor joists. And lastly, you have your bottom track, which is attached to your concrete floor. The tools required to install the Magic Wall are a level, adhesive gun, caulking gun, tape measure, of course, laser level if possible, your C-clamps, adjustable C-clamps, screw gun, a sheetrock handsaw, skill saw, reciprocating saw, and a handsaw. The first step in installing the Magic Wall is to establish a straight line that runs parallel with your concrete wall. And to do this, I'm going to use a laser, a plumb bob, and a string chalk line will work equally as well. First thing that you need to do is position your laser so that your vertical line is approximately 1.5 inches away from your concrete wall. Okay, now you check that at various spots in the wall. See how we're doing over here. A little bit. With your laser, it takes very little movement to change that. Perfect. Okay, now what we've got established is our line that'll run all the way down the wall of the basement that we will follow to install the upper track. All right, installing the upper track, it's helpful to have some assistance. And in this case, I've asked Pedro Carabello, our fabricator, to help me install it. So first thing we're going to do is we need to locate where we want our screws on this to hold it to the floor joists. So we're going to take our track, and it is the wide portion towards you, the 1.5 inch portion down. Set it up here to line up our mark. Take it over, Pedro, all the way to the corner there. Yeah, there, we got it. Yep. Now we got to come towards the wall. There we go. Perfect. Now, we've got it there. Take your marker and mark your joists where you want to pre-drill your holes. All right. Take it down. And you're going to simply drill at the appropriate spots. Okay, now that I've got the holes pre-drilled, I do recommend that you pre-install your screws in those pre-drilled holes. Not all the way through, just so it makes it much easier when you're trying to handle this. All right, now we're ready to set the track in place. Back up again, get our line established. And that, yep, perfect, Pedro. There you go. You need a screw. There you go. Good enough. Now we've got that upper track installed. Okay, now we're ready to install the bottom track. First thing we're going to do is pre-drill 3 holes, 1 on each end, and 1 in the center. Can you give me a line measurement on that one, Pedro? Thank you. There we go. At the 4 foot. That'll do it. Now these are 1/4 inch holes to allow your Tapcons to go through. Okay, once we got the holes established, I'm going to change bits here because we're going to need to drill with a concrete bit to have put our Tapcons in. Now we're going to line this up with the back of the track. Will be lined up with the laser. The laser will be inside the, there we got, this is perfect there. Little, yeah, you're perfect. You're just perfect. Now we hold it into position. Get the middle one. And the last one. Alrighty. Now, Pedro, if you'll take and put a bead, we're going to do this in short. That's good. 1 on each. The bead will go all the way across. Good enough. All right. Now we're ready to install our Tapcon screws. Okay. Line yours up there. Let's see. There we go. Get my hole lined up here. All right. Now that we've got the lower track adhered to the floor with the Tapcons and the adhesive, we're ready to install the upper panel. First thing we've got to do here is remove the punch outs on this side. Here, Pedro, if you will set those aside for a few minutes because we're going to be reusing those again. All right. And you can see the panel is lightweight, easy to handle, and this is the reason why, just before we get into that, so you understand the reason why this is a two-part, rather why we don't have the gypsum cover already pre-installed, is because you're working in a basement. Basements are tight, confined areas. Once this panel is glued together, it no longer has any flexibility whatsoever, so it makes it difficult to get downstairs and around corners, etc. This way, it's fairly easy. Now, in this particular situation, we have an opening that utilizes the full 8 foot. If you had to cut this down, that's where your handsaw, Pedro, can I get the handsaw or the reciprocating saw, please? You would simply, let's drop that down. I'll take this if you want to grab the, yeah, so we can rest it on there. Here you go. Take that back. Set it down. All right. Now, got my tape measure, Pedro? Thank you. If you were dealing with a shorter than 8 foot wall or a panel, because we do manufacture the panels up to 10 foot high, you would measure here and then come through here, measure your distance, square this off, and you would use your reciprocating saw to cut through, or your scale saw or your handsaw. In our case, we don't have to worry about it because we are dealing with a full 8 foot. All right. Stand this back up again. Going to take it over here and set it in the lower track. Perfect. Now, you can't see this, but we have a true straight laser line on this edge. So now you got a nice, straight, true wall. The next stage that we go to, okay, now that we've got the panel cut and checked the fit, so we are sure that it will fit between the tracks properly, the next thing is to pre-drill the attachment screws at the top. What you're going to do, you're going to use a 1/4 inch drill for that, pre-drill, and a countersink to countersink them so they don't get in the way when we install the gypsum board. Okay. Now, Pedro, if you want to give me the level, I want to check the level on this just to be on the safe side. Perfect. This first panel is extremely important that you get everything square true to the concrete wall to where your finished wall is going to be. You get that correct and everything else will flow right with it. Now that we've got that checked, I'm going to take this off and Pedro's going to apply the adhesive to the upper and the lower tracks. Now this is a foam adhesive that comes with your magic wall, and it's designed for the magic wall. If you notice, what he's doing is he's putting that on the back track, the back leg of that track. Good, good. Okay, now a bead on the bottom. Now we're going to have a good seal at the top and the bottom. Now we're ready to reinstall the panel. Okay, we're in good shape there. Now we will there we go. Here we're using 3.5, 4-inch screws, wood screws that are provided with the magic ball. So you get those along with them. 2. There we go. There's 1. Okay, now that we have it firmly attached at the top and at the bottom, we are ready for the next panel. Again, we're going to remove the blocks. If you would, Pedro, thank you. And simply come. And in this situation, we've already checked height. Okay, height is good. Lines up good. Got the level, Pedro? Let me check the level on this. Perfect. All right, now pop this out temporarily. Pedro, if you would run the caulking, we'll be in good shape. Across the bottom. Let you get that last little bit. Alrighty. Now again, we're ready to install this panel. Slide it into the bottom track, push it over. Perfect. Now, Pedro, if I can get the clamp, what you're going to do is take these breakouts that we've got will allow you to line up your 2 and attach. Before we do that, we need to run a bead of adhesive between the 2. Make sure we get it on the wood and the expanded polystyrene, so we get 2 beads basically to connect that joint. You notice how he's going back and forth with that? That's going to give you a good connection all the way along. Now this adhesive is time sensitive, so you do want to work steady with it, not let it set for any length of time, because it'll be set up in about 5 minutes. Once you've got the adhesive on, now you're going to slide these 2 panels together and then pull them apart and back together. Now you line up your face, you clamp, you take one of your 5/16 inch and 5/8 screws, and join the 2 panels together. You can move your clamp, again, straightening out the line, pulling the 2 together. The C-clamps are extremely handy in this position. Alrighty, now we're going to pre-drill our holes here. Alrighty, pop this loose. Basically, from now on, it's just repetition, 1 panel after another. As you can see, it's very simple and easy to install the magic wall. Now, Pedro, if you want to get the punch or the punch outs and the glue gun, because now at this point you're going to want to replace your punch outs, and all you're going to do is put them back in there, get them in the right direction. I'll let Pedro do that. What he's going to do now is you're sealing this back up. That'll close off so you won't have any air gaps. Same thing on that one. And of course, on the upper ones, you grab the rest of these for you. There we go. All right, now you're back to a solid panel, and what you can do also is run a bead of adhesive around them. This foam adhesive acts as an insulation also, so it will allow you to seal up. Now, in this case, you would be doing this when you install the cover over here, the gypsum cover. That's our next step. This goes on just like regular sheetrock. Okay? Now Pedro is going to install the riser which your mold and mildew resistant gypsum board cover is going to set on. Pedro, want to go ahead and show them? What this does is not only he's going to adhere it to the bottom track by using the foam adhesive. We also want a bead of that on the magic wall itself, right above. There we go. There we go. That'll simply be adhered right to that track. That provides the riser for the gypsum cover. Typically you would do this as you go along, and after your adhesive is dry, then you will install the gypsum cover. The only special thing that you have with this is because you've got an 1.5-inch riser, you do have to cut your top to make sure your cover, your gypsum board cover, will fit within the riser. So you're going to want to measure from the top of your riser to the top, and in this case I've got 94.5 inches, so I'm going to want to run this at 94.5, 95 inches. So I'll measure down, I'll cut this just like you would. This cuts and installs just like traditional sheetrock. It is not, however, traditional sheetrock. It is a gypsum board that will not promote the mold growth. If it gets wet, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to deteriorate because of moisture problems. All right? So the thing to remember when you're installing this is you start with a 16-inch wide panel. In other words, you're going to measure here, you're going to cut this off 16 inches. Why you want to do that is because this first panel, you want to end right in the middle of this first nailing flange, so that your next 4-foot panel overlaps your joints. When it overlaps your joints, you have made a much stronger sandwich, much stronger wall than you would get with your traditional framing and traditional installation, where you would just follow and have all your joints lined up. That overlapping of the joints creates a much stronger material and a stronger wall. That's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward and user-friendly, really hard to mess up, you know, as you can see. Okay, now that you've seen how easily the magic wall installs, I'm sure you've got some questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. We have full service in that regard. Give us a call or go to our website, magicwall.com, or you can call me, 816-918-7503. We'll do the best we can to help you out. Thank you very much.